everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hear This Now. So, tonight we have a wonderful episode discussing, is the church an ideal place to find a spouse? So, yes or no answers first. All right, guys? Do you think that the church is an ideal place to find a spouse?
Yeah.
You sure I can just say it like a
Yes
little bit?
or no? Yes or no? Is the church an ideal place to find a spouse? Okay, yes, no, or maybe.
No, maybe.
All
Maybe.
right.
Depends.
All right, well, for me, I am going to say yes. All right, now tell me, Aaron,
Yeah.
why do you think the church is an ideal place to find a spouse?
Well, since you had maybe, I had to change my answer to maybe, right? First of all, I will say this, right? For the agreeing with it part, for the yes part, it will be something like, all right, if you're looking for somebody who basically on the same walk of life in the same religion you go into, they will more likely, I believe, I think, that they would more welcome the factor that all right, they think in the along the lines of you thinking, right? And you may share certain similar viewpoints. And for the part that are against, is because with me personally, I wasn't looking for nobody inside the church because I believe that it have genuine people outside of the church as well as inside the church.
Um, so I said no, maybe because okay, I think if you think about it, the church should be the ideal place for Christian folk to come together and find a good Christian love, right? However, like speaking from my experience, it's not ideal because most of the churches that I've gone to, there are more women than men, one, and two, the men that are there are either really, really, really old or the level of attraction is not there. Because okay, I try not to be rude, but I find there are some men tend to be very more feminine than masculine, and I'm a feminine woman, and so I'm attracted to a masculine man. So that's why I said no.
All right, I am saying yes. Okay, yes, the church is an ideal place to find a spouse, and I'm sticking with that. The church is an ideal place to find a spouse, and we will get into that after Shanna and Aisha explain why. Because I have a question coming up here, and I just want to know. Can I ask this question before Shanna and Aisha even say why?
No,
No,
No.
no.
no, no,
Oh,
let
oh
Shannon
no.
answer first.
Oh gosh, well, it burning inside me, but it good.
Let me
Yes.
listen to that.
I said maybe. Well, him, right?
Yes.
I said maybe because you may think that you are at an advantage by finding somebody in the church, but some people in church fake, just like people out of church fake. So it's like you have some people who would be like, yeah, I'm a Christian, in the church, yeah? I'm a Christian, I do the right things. And then behind closed doors, they really not doing the right things. And you have pastors who just warn their wife and things. So it's like you could, and at the same time, it is an ideal place to find somebody, but it just depends on who the person is.
Okay.
And I didn't say yes, no, or maybe I said depends. It depends
Why
on
depends?
what you are, who you are, what you're looking for, why you even want a spouse in the first place. All of this, it just depends on a lot of things, a lot of factors. Because if I am somebody who grew up in church, I might automatically say yes, that's the best place. But then, is it really? And if I was somebody who not from in church and thing, I'm pretty sure I'm not looking inside church for a spouse. It depends on you growing up and things that you're seeing around you and all of these things.
All right.
You get
So
to ask your burning question
yes,
now.
that's my the question. Heated. I mean, not really. I just really want to ask it. All right. So, were you, if you are already married, right? Were you? Well, Aaron already answered that question. He wasn't looking for a spouse in church. I will give my answer last. Are you looking for a spouse in church right now? I mean, in your church, it may not have anybody who is valid, who's appropriate. However, if the opportunity arises, will you pursue that opportunity?
Op- Opportunity like what? Like if a Christian man walks to the door and he's everything that I say that I want or whatever, and would I be open to it? Of course, I'll be open to it. But I'm not just looking at the church or in church to find a spouse because am I echoing somewhere? Sorry, it's kind of distracted there. Testing. Okay, right. So yes, I would be open to that if it did, happen, if it did occur. But I'm not just looking in church for a spouse. What I've come to realize is that there are a lot of people who believe in God but have church trauma. So then they don't go to church, right? So things like, just being out and about and being attracted to another Christian, having conversations with people, even online dating, or even that. But I'm opening up myself to all avenues because, yeah, like I said, you can find a good Christian person anyway. It doesn't just have to be in the church.
So am I looking for someone in the church? No. No, I am not looking for someone in church. If the opportunity arises, I could, we could try, we could talk, whatever, and see what happens. But to say specifically, I'm looking in church, no, I'm not.
I would say the same thing. Like, if it arise, yeah. Maybe, yeah. That's still a maybe, though. If the person is in church, that's still a maybe. If the opportunity was to present itself.
Before I give my answer, why is there maybe?
Because, like I said before, the person could be involved in church, but it's like, are they really serious about it? You know?
Oh, okay, okay. All right, I understand what you're saying. For me, I said earlier, I was not looking for a spouse in church. As a matter of fact, church would, for me, would have been the worst place to look for a spouse. I'm keeping it 120%. Church would have been the worst place for me to find a spouse because growing up in church, I know church boys. You don't have a difference between followers of Christ, young men, godly young men, men of
Yes.
God, and
Yes.
then it had church boys.
Yes. Yes.
I went to church with real church boys. You understand what I'm saying? And being in these youth groups and such, I knew that church boys were bicycles for lack of a better word, right? They're running hither and thither, they passing through hand like sweet soap. I no. No, 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 no. I remember a time I was like, Mommy, I don't want no church boy because apart from them being sweet soap and bicycles, they were lame. As you said in the beginning, they lame, they feminine, they just like, oh my gosh, what do you want to impress me by packing up the most chairs after the church dinner? Like, come on. That's how you
Ouch.
impressed me. You impressed me by Shandai Randai in the loudest or by lifting up your hand the highest during worship. I'm not moved by that.
You're hot in real church boy, girl. You're hot in real church boy.
Listen, they don't have to want me because I am taken anywhere you take it. I just say how it
No, but
is,
I agree with you now. I agree with you.
right? You lifting up your hand the highest and Shandai Randai the loudest and playing the drums the best and singing the best on the worship team, and that's supposed to impress me. What about your personality, your intellect, your
Thank you.
mentality, all these different things? Me, I didn't want a church boy. I mean, I didn't get a church boy because, God gives you what you ask for, right? But, you know,
And I
I
think
just,
I think you and Aaron are like a prime example that things that are ideal don't always work for everybody, you know?
explain, Kat. You lost me.
Well, yeah, earlier you said yes, you believe that church is the ideal place to
Uh-huh.
find a spouse. That's not where you found your spouse. And you guys have a beautiful marriage. Might I
Oh,
say so
okay.
myself?
Thank you
So,
very much.
right. So, what I'm saying is, yes, you and Aaron are a prime example that what is ideal or what is thought to be ideal isn't really meant for everybody. So, be open.
Yeah, I I didn't mind if he was a man of God, obviously, because you want somebody who
Yeah.
is of God, who's
Yes.
worshiping God, who has a relationship with God, etc. But you see that church boy mentality, that was not and is not for me. We all know that the most bicycle of them all is when they're singing on the worship team. Yes, I said it. I said it. Anyhow, so let's move on.
Shan face, yes?
Yeah. Okay. So, what are some pros of finding your spouse in church? Now that we often you will talk.
Mm.
Two all let's go to the same church. That's a pro. Two all can see one right through. I just been real. Two all can see one right through. I
Sometimes I
mean,
see some of your
as I tell
pros.
all before, the pros I can't really give all any pros because as I say, I wasn't looking in the church to be
But
real honest with
actually,
all.
I think you gave us a pro earlier, when you were explaining, I can't remember, but I can remember you
The
saying it.
equally yoked thing.
Yeah, like the fact that you may find somebody who is closer in line with your views. I mean, it may not be
Yeah, but like
exactly,
that common knowledge, Krista. Anybody can
but
sit
that's
down
a
and think
pro.
about that, but
But that's a pro.
I I don't know but any pros because it wasn't where I was looking in the first place.
But I just telling you that's a pro. That being able to share that same outlook with someone, and because let's be very real, right? In relationships, in any relationship, even with friends, anything, religion or a church talk, when we differ on those type, that could cause real tension, right? So you could imagine not being on the same path with your spouse, the person you're supposed to be one with. Like it's okay to have little differences, but like to be completely at odd ends. I am a one is an Orthodox Christian and one is a Pentecostal. I don't know. I don't know different types of denominations, but
We don't know either.
One is a Jehovah, one is an Orthodox. Listen, they might believe different things, and like we know that some religions think that Jesus Christ. What do you think about Jesus Christ? That he's not the Son of God or something like that.
I don't think so.
You could imagine not being on the same page on whether Jesus Christ is the Son of God with your spouse. So that is definitely, definitely, definitely. I think that is a very a good pro. Um, and I guess to tag along with that, when you do decide to have children, there wouldn't be contention when it comes to all right, how are we raising our children? Are we raising them Baptist? Are we raising them Christian? Are we raising them this? Are we raising them that? So I think that's another pro. I was thinking about this, and I guess when it comes to counseling, if you are lucky to have a church with good counselors who know their stuff, and they don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. So you're seeing that they know this, they actually know their stuff. You have sort of a community. So when you're having issues, you have someone to go to that could actually help you, not pander or give you bad advice. But that's
Yeah, yeah, you're
dependent on the
stealing my pro,
church.
but all right.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, it is not my pro fully, but go ahead.
No, I just simply saying that it's nice to have a community that supports you, especially when you're trying to figure out love and things. But that's dependent on the church. It's dependent on the type of church you go to. If it have judgmental persons in the church or all the counselors, sharing your business or thing, obviously it's not going to be a pro. So that pro is more dependent on the church. That's kind of what I have for
I
pros.
agree with Saba and disagree, but I'll leave that for the later half.
Okay. For the
So
cons.
yeah. My pros are there are a lot of single people in the church, which yeah, I don't know what it is exactly, but most of these churches just filled with single people. And not this is not to bash churches or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that, but I really just thinking, how is it that these churches are just filled with single folk? I don't know. I just find it weird. Maybe because there's a lot of young people coming into the church, or people whose spouses probably passed on, or divorced or such. Maybe I don't know. But anyhow, so there are a lot of single people in church, and yeah, so it will be easy to find, especially for men, because there are more single women than single men in the church. So single ladies, I don't know what to tell you all.
I might have a fix
Go
for
to
that, but
a
we can talk
bigger
about that later.
church. Yeah, because I need to know. I really need to know that. I'm curious about that. Um, your spouse is getting this, or your future spouse is getting the same teachings as you and Aaron just said, and yes, different people will hear a message differently, but for the most part, they are getting the same teachings as you. You all have the same church family, and hopefully, the members of the church are encouraging and supporting of your future union. Um, and if your church has a singles ministry or a marriage ministry, you
Mm-hmm.
both can attend those. Then you can hear their take on certain issues and such, and see if it aligns with yours, because in these singles and marriage ministries they have discussions, and the thought of even getting counseling. So yes, they could go to counseling, etc., like you said, Krista, but the thought of even getting counseling may be better received,
Mm-hmm.
because you all have a familiarity with the counselors in church.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing is you enjoy a level of spiritual unity.
I like that one.
So I know, right? I stole it from some article. Anyhow, you enjoy a level of spiritual unity when you sit under the same gospel centered teachings and discuss them actively. You
Mm-hmm.
stay on the same page spiritually, hopefully.
Okay, like you take all the answers there with that one.
Ooh, sorry.
Nah, nah, nah. So here my clue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-ting. Pre-marriage counseling.
Or free
Pre-wedding venue. Pre-ting. Pre-wedding venue.
I think what I want to
higher level
Pre-marriage
understanding.
officer. Higher level understanding. Pre-marriage officer.
know.
And plus you get support from the church. Like, I think you said that, yeah, but you get good support from the church.
There's a
Nobody from the church.
financial support from the church too.
Yeah. Nobody not gonna say nobody gonna be on the air talking about some don't get married and stuff. They will always
That not true.
encourage you. True,
That
some
not
people in
true.
the church they still say don't get married. I think
Yes.
what kind of church is that, boy?
Listen, I like those churches. Like if they say it to the right people, that people who should not get married, I like those churches.
Yeah, that's true. But then on top of that, who are we to say not to get married? The people probably talk to God. Let me tell you a story before Shan continue and Asia continue, right? I
I just spread
went
your story, isn't it?
I went to this church, y'all, right? And this church claims to be abundant in profits, right? And this church told me this two people from the church were praying for me, and they saw the ring on my finger, my engagement ring, and then they were like, "So you're getting married? X Y Z the case, thing, thing, thing." So I was like, "Yes." So obviously, I spoke to God. I had this conversation with God years prior and throughout the years, and I got certain confirmations, etc. Right? But these prophet people told me that I have to go and talk to their higher prophet because it had levels to the prophet thing, right? So they told me that I have to go and talk to a higher prophet, the prophet in charge, and ask the prophet if my future spouse is supposed to be the spouse for me. And I looked at them and I said, okay, all right, okay, because my parents trained me to not be rude, right? And then when I walked out of the office, I told myself I'm not going to ask anybody anything. Because as far as I'm concerned, you don't know the conversations I have been having with my almighty God. You don't know me from anywhere. I just come here just to Mako.
This song like some kind of tarot card something.
Yeah, it was tarot card
Let me
things,
check
well.
the crystal ball and see.
And let's consult the bones, right? It was tarot card thing self. But yes, they tell me I have to consult the prophet to find out if my spouse is his spouse for me. Which means that if the prophet had told me, hey, you cannot marry this individual, and I was feeble minded, I would have said, oh my gosh, it's God who say I can't marry this individual. I don't know what biases you have against me and my person.
True, true, true.
Is the prophet does want you to marry certain people for the prophet's gain.
I still feel our ways about it.
No, I just say in the bad
No, no,
side
no,
of
no.
it.
I know, I know, I know. I just listen. I know some people who really should not get married, and
Yeah, I
prophet
know
could I
them
tell
too,
them?
but yeah, they should have go to that prophet.
Anyhow,
Yeah, Sean.
so my pros are everything that you guys said, especially one that Asia said. I really like that one plenty because I never thought about it. You know, the free
Ah.
things.
Same.
But yeah, everything that you all said, just being equally yoked. Basically, we are on the same page most of the time. We learn the same things. Our family will be around the same sense of ethics and morals and the character that we want our children to be, and we teach them. And what we learn in all of those things are
Mm-hmm.
the pros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get on to
So what
business.
about cons?
Oh, Aisha was saying something?
No, I said, let me get on to business now. The cons.
Aaron hit me then.
You're on pulling off files.
I had one already, but Aisha already said earlier. One that is the pretending to be a Christian thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw that out the door already because Aisha already talk about it. The next one, what I had to talk about is basically using counseling as a shaming tactic.
How's it?
Also, all
Mm.
right. Counseling supposed to be something to help people, right?
Yeah.
If your aim of going counseling is to turn it into a he say, she say battle and to
Mm.
get people to join on your side,
Oh,
then it is not for the
betterment.
benefit of of anybody. Because all you're doing is that you're just forming a set of people to just point at him when Sunday church start, or point at she and say, she and she husband just be doing this, or he and he wife just be doing this, or she just be doing this to she husband, or he just be doing this to he wife. That kind of thing. That is one of the major cons for me. And next one is feminism, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
No, talk about it, please.
Exactly. Why
That
not?
one, that is a very good one. I didn't think about that
That
one.
need to be explained and expounded upon.
All right. This is just my personal view on the feminist thing, right? If you want to identify as a feminist, fine. You could identify as whatever you want to identify. But you see what, when you want to bring God into it, and then because your feminist views say that, hey, you're all powerful and thing, and then you want to talk about, oh, these scriptures in the Bible are not up to par with certain things that going on in the church, if you understand what I'm saying. For example, women preaching. That is something that many people have a problem with. That, yeah, yeah, that feminists will tell you that, oh, the Bible wasn't up to date and all this kind of thing, right? And
Yeah.
when it comes to the dating aspect of it, if I wanted to date somebody who could do the same thing that I could do, then I would have just be gay.
So you, in regards to dating a feminist.
Yes.
Okay.
Just now, I have a question though. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so what you're trying to say is that in the modern age, a lot of the women in church are feminists, and that
No,
is
I'm not.
that is one of the cons of dating in church. Remember that's the
I'm
topic.
not. I'm not saying. I'm not saying a lot of them are saying that it have certain groups that form in churches
Mm.
that bring the feminist ideology into it, right? It would be wrong of me to say that all women taking that approach.
No, not all.
But a
Hmm.
portion.
Yeah, a
And
portion
maybe
Yes,
of them.
and maybe a hefty
a
portion.
good,
Maybe.
a good portion too, right? And in addition to that, what I would like to add is that is something that men actually contribute to.
I don't really understand.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I think I know, but go ahead.
All right. If there's statistically proven that there's more women in church than men, right?
Yes.
Therefore, you cannot preach the same message to a woman as you would preach to a man.
How?
All right. There are many pastors who do and say things to keep followers in the church, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. What
Right.
you're basically saying is that some pastors will pander to the women so that they could stay in church, and in pandering to them, they preach certain things even though it is not biblically sound.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And then the result of that is
Is feminist.
Feminism in the
feminist
church.
thinking in the church, and that is one of the
Hmm.
cons of finding a spouse for a man in church.
Yeah, and that is one of the things too that where Krista talk about that. Well, everybody talk about it basically. Is that is our next impact to how men turn weak.
I think feminism in the church is overall detrimental to the church, whether it's relationships, even how we dissect the Bible, because you can't serve two masters. It's either you're a Christian. This is how I see it. It's either that you are following Jesus Christ, or you are a feminist, right? And you follow that ideology, right? They can't coexist. They will meet at a crossroads, and there will be some sort of contention or tension, right? And I think when it pertains to relationships, well, just to think, we could have feminist men as well, right?
No,
And
no, no, no. Those
yes,
don't
No,
exist. Those don't exist.
understand what she's saying.
yes, you
Listen
could have
carefully.
like the feminist men are the men that believe, okay, women could do all and women could do this, and basically pandering to women as well. And then when you look at the relationship later down the line, when the woman is tired of being a feminist, because I have seen examples where women, they want to be taken care of at a certain point. When they reach a certain age, they look to their spouse, their husband, and he's a feminist. He's a feminine man. He has lost his masculinity. He and it's a detriment to that relationship. So I think feminism, that ideology in the church overall, is a detriment. So I agree, that's a major con. Um,
Just now,
and
Aaron was done.
All I was going to say is the reason why I say don't exist is
feminist men.
because half of the time when men claim that they is feminists, because they realize that you are feminist, you are a good looking girl, and they want to bang you.
That laugh was not meant to come out. All right, Aaron. Okay, so another con, this is one that I have, is okay, so I believe in this modern day, because of the fact that we have established that many people in church tend to be like wolves in sheep's clothing. I believe in multi dating, right? So, and that's not necessarily, kissing and being intimate with everybody, but, talking to
Explain.
multiple
Oh,
fellas, right? But talking to multiple fellas, or for men, multiple girls at the same time, I support that, right? And when you are in one church, and let's say you are talking, let me not do that, talking to, let's say, five guys in the same church. Listen, it's just talking, eh? Get your mind out the gutter, right? You're just talking to about five guys in the same church. People gossip. People are going to start to look to you as, what do you call it, Jezebel, or some type of three or four
Jezebel, go ahead. A bicycle.
Jezebel. Yes, a bicycle, because they assume that you are being intimate with these men, and they, whatever, they just tend to gossip. And I think, did Aisha mention it earlier? People being in your business. Okay, no, sorry, my bad. But she'll mention it later. I don't know. But yes, people tend to gossip, and that's like, what I'm learning too is that your reputation is kind of important. Okay. Even though I like to say I don't care what people think about me, to a certain extent, marring my character is not favorable. It's not something that I would want. So, and this is my idea that I think that churches should do. I think, and I don't know if this is in play or anything like that because I haven't been to many churches, but I think multiple churches, let's say 5 or 6 or whatnot, should come together and throw like maybe once or twice a year a singles mixer. So that way I could have a little boo thing up in each. Okay, a little possible boo thing up in like 5 possible churches, one in each, that I could speak to and exercise my options, and they could exercise their options as well. That's my little fix to why they're like to the single people in a church problem. Have mixers, introduce people, obviously, maybe have some rules, regulations, people who are interested in marriage, that type of thing. Invite them and say, hey, let's talk. Right? Let's see if I have any more cons. No, I think that's it. I think that's all my cons.
All right. My cons are to finding a spouse in church. Uh, it can put the focus of church on social and romantic issues instead of faith. So you go into church and you single, you ready for a husband and or a wife, and you fancying up yourself and all these different things just to come in the people them church, just to see which single person you could grab at that time.
We know some of those.
But wait,
Girl, I
Continue.
don't
wait,
know
wait,
what you're talking
wait.
about.
What's
I know some of
wrong?
those. Continue.
What's wrong with putting on your frankincense and your myrrh to get a man?
No, no,
That's
no, no, no. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong with that. I
people
am
who only
saying
do that.
exactly, you are putting the focus of finding a spouse in church instead of putting the focus on who the focus is supposed to be on, which is God, Jesus Christ. You understand? So, as I said before, you sleep in Saturday night, you wake up Saturday morning, oh, good, let me put on my best so that
Johnny.
Ingrid, so that Ingrid could watch me today. Or let me put on my best so that uh, Johnny could watch me tomorrow. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand. And instead of like sitting down and taking in the word, you're watching across the scene. I wonder if Johnny watching me. I wonder if Irene checking me out in this best suit here.
Exactly. You're passing close to Irene so she could smell your cologne instead of saying, Irene, I got a word from God. Even though there's used that word from God thing as a, all
What?
right. Well, listen, I have a next story.
Oh
So
God.
I
But
remember somebody told me that God told them that I was their wife. Right? So be careful of that,
And it
please,
was
because they
not
use that.
Aaron P. Mitchell. It was
It
not
was
him.
not Aaron P. Mitchell at all. Right. Another con is pressure from the congregation
Hmm.
can make you rush into marriage or even stay in an unhealthy one. Do I need to
Well,
repeat that?
I know this to be very, very, very true. I went to a church where every single servant felt like, okay, it's a praying for a man thing. And when it came to two young persons who were getting married, it was heavily encouraged. And well, the state of their marriage right now is. And where
And
is the where's the elders? Where are the elders? Sorry, to who pushed them into this? Where are they? Where are they
Aisha,
now?
Aisha, what one of them did say at time?
Oh God.
later,
When they said that I know exactly who Krista is speaking about, and they said that they are suffering more downs than ups.
Jade,
Imagine that.
you see
No.
this starter? I was thinking something else. I was thinking the clinic thing.
person because the individuals that
I
Krista
am
was
speaking
speaking to
about.
us
Let me
Yes.
ask you this
about.
something, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
The individual who said he's seen more downs than ups, right? That person have a wife.
She is the
No.
wife.
N-
What?
No, the person who said that
No,
was not the person who said that was one of the elders that took the
pressured
pressured,
the young
yes,
people
the
who were
young
clearly
people.
not ready.
Wait, what did
Yes.
you say?
So,
It was not
so,
the young
so,
persons themselves.
what I say is that he had time to bad dog the people relationship and every night is hand central for he.
Aaron, take yourself out of this live, please.
Oh no,
Take yourself out of this live, please, Mr. Aaron.
your device. Hand it here
No,
now.
no. I asking a serious question. No, let me be real here, right? If if I elder in the church pushing me to get married, right? And this person do have a wife or do have a husband, then it's hand central every night. That's what going on with you. You can't tell me find a man or a woman if it's hand central.
What I'm saying is, right?
If you like to point with two fingers, or you just grab a cup so you can't tell me nothing about finding no man or no woman.
What I'm saying is, the
If when you
church,
if when you
wait,
if when you
Let's
point
move on.
inside, it
Let's
does
move
the
on.
water
Let's
coming
move
out of
on.
your hand.
Let's move on from this.
let's move on. But the
Listen, them
church
people and
couldn't
brutish,
have
yeah.
known that the relationship wasn't going to last. But
What
you know
Aisha
where I'm
said?
coming from. The church couldn't have known that the marriage wouldn't have been a good one.
Isha, come on.
Watch how everybody
Isha, come
reacting
on.
right now. Come on.
You can't just
This
watch
what
two people and say not going to
the
work out. I'm
It's
you
sure
tell
not.
you
me
said that
the
about
same.
you and Aaron, and it's not true.
It's
Isha,
not
let me
about.
ask you some. Isha, let me ask you some. I wanna ask you some, right? Right? So before you jump up and you say, "Hey, I hope things get better in your relationship,"
You
or
see,
Yeah.
I would provide a counselor for you to call to, right? Your first initial response is you seeing more downs and ups. Trust
That's
me,
more of
that
a
person saw
gossipy
that that
thing.
relationship was not good for you in the first place. And guess what? They still push it towards that.
But even if they didn't see it, all right, even if they didn't see it, that's not the type of thing, that's not the sort of community you're supposed to have. You know, I'm going to kidnap a little saying, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Now, I trying to put that for marriage as well because I take marriage very seriously. Like the day Jade and Aaron got married, and I was a witness, not that sign, but I was there, I saw it. I took that very seriously. I would never look to one earlier and say, well, you're having more downs than up, or say some sort of thing. I would look to try to help if you know that more than anything, try to help you, especially if I saw, all right, these are two young people, maybe they're getting too emotional. Let me see how I could help. That was not the case in this instance. And that is kind of what that's a con. If your community in which you're getting married is not a sound community, not a community you could lean on, or having some issues. This is what's going on. Instead of you
Exactly.
gossip about it, where's your
that's
help?
the
Where's
same
your
thing
Exactly.
you said
guidance?
earlier. Same thing you said earlier about people in your business.
Exactly. What I just wanted to add something to what Aisha was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is not a case of you looking at somebody and saying it is not going to work because that will be unfair. And then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people will look at it, all kind of people, none of us, okay, people who are in successful relationships or whatever, it could be success in jobs, it could be success in all areas of their life. It is by the grace of God, right? And I think Paul said that in one of those books, I can't remember which one,
I love Paul.
that and that it is by the grace of God so that none of us could boast, right? And so what I am saying is just to continue off of what Krista is saying there. You are these people were 19 and 20. You understand what I'm saying? I am all for young marriage. I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
yes, young people need to get married as far as I'm concerned, right? However, after you sit with, let's say, me and my spouse, and you
Mm-hmm.
realize that things are not where they should be. I am not telling you to watch me and say, nah, 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 we ain't getting married. No, be like, okay, so maybe not now. Let's work on certain things, and then we could see about doing that.
It's more
But
like
for
giving
you to
advice, like
have,
advising them.
exactly, but for you to have the audacity after I came to you as a young person, I'm 19, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And after I came to you as a young person, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking up to you, right? Looking up to you so much that you walk me down the aisle. But you are walking me down the aisle knowing that it is detrimental. And then when I come to you for advice and for counsel, you're watching me and telling me, seeing more downs than ups, but you pressured me back to the con, right? You pressured me into doing this. And why? Because everybody likes weddings, everybody likes a party, everybody likes engagement, and they'll say things like, it is better to marry than to burn, and all that craziness. And, you know, so that
Mm-hmm.
is one of the cons. And then
That same minister burning.
on top of that, we ignore it here. On top of that,
That same minister
right?
burning. There's how he does point. He does point so.
How you know it's a he? How you know it's a he? You don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing at all.
Anyhow, so as I was saying, and the part where we say that they stay in unhealthy marriages is that sometimes people get married in the church just to prove a point,
Yes.
because you thought that I would have stayed single for the rest of my life. Hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
I got a wife, I got a husband. I know you tell me that I should not have done it, but I want to do it anyway, and I'm going to prove to you that it's going to work. When everybody and the auntie who outside the church could see that it's falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
have something to
Mm-hmm.
prove, because if you do the healthier thing in this instance and get a divorce and fix your life and fix yourself, then everybody else, you believe that everybody will be bad talking you and have time to study you for some reason. Yes.
You finish with your cons?
I have one more.
Okay.
um, Things can get awkward if the relationship ends. Well,
Yes.
that's self-explanatory, because I kind of just said it.
Okay, right. Cons. Number one, the person could be overly religious
Mm-hmm.
and certain things you want to do, the person telling you that's not of God. But it's like normal things like you want to celebrate your birthday. You want to go by the restaurant and have a pina colada. The person saying, no, 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 no. That's not of God. We can't drink any alcohol. You know, that kind of way. Or we shouldn't celebrate birthdays, you know? Um, or like just dealing with, like if you're all arguing or dealing with
Mm-hmm.
an
Yeah.
issue,
Mm-hmm.
because you just want to bring God into everything. Not saying there's a problem with that, but I'm just saying certain things you don't need to always come and quote Bible right through. Just deal with the issue at hand without the extra stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And another one is if one person is, let's say, more spiritual than the other, and
Mm-hmm.
like they study the word more than the next person, they may have a tendency to make the next person feel bad about it.
Mm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like you're not doing this, you're not reading the Bible enough, you're not telling. You could encourage the person, but to like talk down on them because they're not into it as much as you, I personally think that that is wrong. Yeah, yeah.
I think so too. I think everybody has their own little journey that they're on, and we have to have grace for that. If I am here and you are here, I'm not going to berate you and try to make you reach here. Is either I am with you and I'm saying, all right, you're here, I'm having grace, I'm with you, I'm taking this journey with you, or you're saying, all right, I can't be with you, you unequally yoked with me. Let me get with somebody who is here with me. So I agree with you on that.
Exactly.
Um, I have three cons. The first one is basically one that all of you all said, people all up in your business, right? Because church has a way of things just spreading and you hearing about things that you told one person. Sometimes it's the pastor themselves. And you're hearing things like, you might be in a prayer meeting and all of a sudden the prayer is going a kind of way that you know that somebody talk your business. That kind
But
of thing,
suppose the spirit is speaking to them all.
it's not.
That's what it will say. The spirit.
No,
Listen, Sean, the
no.
other day I prayed and God just told me to pray for
God
you
didn't tell you
concerning
nothing.
this situation. You
That
never
wasn't
hear that?
my business.
You
Don't
was
try that.
talking about business. He's mom. Don't bring God into your nonsense. Come on, please. Don't do it. They just have a way of spreading your business, and that could easily happen in a church. I mean, it could happen anywhere, but it's a church. There is no how to do it in a kind of way that I can't even explain, but it has happened in a kind of way.
It's
I don't
savvy.
know, kind of, yeah, savage.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
yeah.
is, that is one. The next one is you find your spouse in church, you get married in church, and all of a sudden you don't have personal problems anymore, meaning that
Hmm.
the answer is always in church. So we don't work on ourselves really if we have a problem, but all right, God, or no, not all right, God, but let me just think about things that happening in church and we will survive.
Or instead
What
of
Basically,
you
dealing
what
with
you
your
mean?
issues and
you're not
growing
dealing with
together,
the issue together. Instead, you just leave the issue and we have a problem, but you know what? We have something to go and do in church, let us go and do it. And
Oh,
you never have
oh,
time to deal with us. So that we're not dealing with us at all. Because if we deal with us, we might get angry and we might get divorced. Oh my gosh. So here's what. Let's just go and do what we need to do in church together and smile for everyone.
which
Yeah.
we know is
Ay,
not a
ay,
good
ay.
thing.
Yeah, that happens. And last one, them church boys and them. I've had
run-ins.
Don't
run-ins,
say runnings. Just oh my god.
run-ins,
Hey,
and
run-ins. I never said running. I said run-ins.
with some of them, and it's like they have no personality. They have nothing about them except the fact that they just go to church. They they're boring. They have nothing to talk about. If you want to go somewhere, no, we could go there, kind of thing. It's like,
Their whole life is just church.
yeah,
The only talk you could talk is a Bible talk.
yes, we're trying to talk about something, and you just out of the blue, you just come and stick it in, and it's like, yes, we understand certain principles, but could we discuss what we're discussing here right now, please?
I feel like I had run-ins with church. Run-ins with
Yeah, and I had an experience with one. I mean, I was very young, and that one just turned me off of all. Like,
Oh Lord.
this is why I said this depends thing, and I'm not really for that looking in church for nobody, because that one time just locked me out.
Shan, you
one time.
blocking your blessing.
Listen, I did say though that if the opportunity comes again, but it will be so much slower because I can't handle them. They just have nothing. They're just empty. It's like they're just empty. They don't know what to do with themselves. I don't know who was teaching them if they get taught at all how to be a
They have
man
no game. They have no game.
and
Just
all of
now,
these.
Lashan,
They just have nothing, and I pray maybe to find one that has something to
that
offer
who knows
other
how to
than
be an actual man, right?
and who knows how to be an actual man, not just come in church like Jake say and play the guitar and put some girl watch you, or because you
Yeah,
could
boy.
sing,
Ooh.
or any of those things. That yeah,
And you see, that's the thing too with what Aaron was talking about earlier. With well, I think were talking about it earlier. The fact that one, there are more women in church than men. So that means, the older generation, the men, the older generation is supposed to lead and guide the younger. So if there aren't sufficient enough male, masculine, older men to guide the younger men, how else do you think they're going to be? And then they are wrong as at a woman who's going to influence them. And the woman influence may be a feminist, a feminist um, influence. So it's kind of understandable why we so against them in a way. It's kind of understandable.
I guess.
If the whole life is church, if the whole life is church, um, and they don't have any experiences outside of that, outside of their bubble, where they could pick up a few things, pick up a little game, pick up a little, like, and by game, I mean just simply knowing how to have a conversation, knowing social cues. Like, if my face like this, like, stop talking, or switch the subject, or stop talking about yourself. Like, literally, I sat with someone and spoke about himself for like half an hour. No questions about me, nothing. And it's like, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, I understand, but yeah, I'm not for it. I agree. Like, we're not for church boys.
Yeah, but I go on church too. But I still have a personality and I could still have a conversation and things. And it's not to say that I really went out there to learn about people outside and learn different things. You can listen to people. Like, do you have friends outside of your circle in church? Do you? Did you
Yes,
But
go
that's
to
it.
Lashan.
school?
Oh, okay.
Did you learn anything from being around other people at school? Do
Yes,
you not?
did.
I mean, why would you come in church and behave like this then?
Because they're trying to impress, as in it is a case of who could be holier than who. You understand? If I show her, this is what I said in the beginning as well. If I show her that my praise dance is the best, then she may want to come and be my wife and all these different things, which leads me to this question, right? um, what do you think is the mindset of most single people in church when it comes to dating and marriage?
Well,
If I was to be quite honest, I think very few people actually want a full relationship. I think most people just looking to have fun. That's just what I think.
Like, they're not taking it serious. That's what
Yeah.
you mean? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know. Like, this is a weird question, because for me, I like to answer these types of questions with like statistics and facts, right? And I honestly, I don't know. I know I take it seriously. I know some women, and well, I won't say that. I know some women who took it seriously, and I mean, I know a few that don't. I don't know if it's 50-50. I don't know if it's more people take it more, more young people take it seriously than they do. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I've experienced both sides, just not a comparable difference, I should say.
Um, what was, just to repeat the question, what do you think is the mindset of most single people in church when it comes to dating and marriage?
If you had asked me that years back, I would say the mindset is to get married.
Okay.
Now, single people in church, the older ones who are single in church, still thinking get married. I think our generation is not just thinking get married. So we may be thinking who I get married to more than just get married. So I don't think the younger generation is actually looking directly towards marriage right now. Just as soon as I date, I get married. I don't think that's exactly what we're thinking right now. At least me, I don't think like that.
I have no idea.
I still young, I know one.
So I only know what I could sing in the church of a single person. And honestly, watching those married couples in church, I'm glad I single. I just be
You want to sweep your own foot?
Which
I saw a meme that said that.
which lead me to a question I wanted to ask just now before G really interrupted me.
Uh,
Well, I think relationships in church actually mean something. Like, are they successful as they seem? This is a you think type question, and so no
oh,
statistics.
okay. All right. So listen, and I think this goes for every marriage,
Just
though.
just now, Krista,
Mm.
I didn't answer the question because you rudely interrupted me. But
This way, like
but
so.
I when you finish, I will answer.
Mr. Edward saying some.
you see what he said? He said women start getting some women in the church start getting wedding bells as soon as you speak to them.
Well, that's true. Some, not all. But at least I
Which it
think they didn't answer.
I wanted Krista to finish. See what she had to say.
oh, I thought, didn't you interrupt me though?
But I confused right now.
Who was
Okay, to
talking?
answer Aaron's
No, I
question,
was
right?
going to answer,
Let
and
Jen
then
answer first, and
And
then
then
you
Aaron
you
asked
go
a
ahead.
question.
And okay.
Yeah, Jade, go ahead now.
Right. So, um, from what I observe, and because I have been to many church youth groups, so I could just speak from a youth standpoint. Um, many of the single youth in church just want to get married to have sex, you know.
Well, yeah.
They just want to
Well,
get married to have sex.
where is he gonna get married from?
Anyhow, yeah. So that is the mindset to have sex, and because they think that from the time somebody addresses you as Mr. or Mrs. XYZ is some sort of status symbol now. So yeah,
As a click thing.
yeah.
Ah,
Right, yeah, Ron, ask the question.
Yeah, do you think that relationships in church, relationships, marriages, wherever you choose to label it as, successful as they seem?
okay. So this is how I view relationships, marriages overall, right? I think we tend to do this thing where we the goals thing. Oh my god, hashtag relationship goals, relationship. We have a abundance of that in in the world, everywhere, right? And how I operate, I think I just feel like, you know what? anybody could be hiding anything. What they show you may not necessarily be how it is. So, what I advise, or what I think people should be doing, is study their own relationships. If you like what's taking place in your relationship, good for you. You don't have to advertise nothing, just good for you. Study that and don't take on anything else. Now, actually, no, even your closest friends, and this is not to put shade on anybody or whatnot, but even Angela and I were talking about this, what, months ago? Like, she was advising me not to idealize or idolize, sorry, not idealize, idolize their relationship. And I said, Jade, I really don't. I see you two as two regular folk. And from what I see, your relationship works for you. But I not behind closed doors. What all you're showing me could be a falsity. So I take it in it with the bones. If I see something good, like some good what was the thing? Some good principles that you guys go by, I might say, this works. This might work for me. Let me try it in my relationship. So that's how I kind of view relationships. I don't study whether they're successful or not, because that kind of would drive me insane and would discourage me to be in a relationship.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if somebody's relationship is successful or not. I have to know their business in order for me to know. And as Krista said, I don't believe in relationship goals either. I don't like when people say, "Oh my gosh, you all are relationship goals," because that real cringy. And nobody knows what is happening behind closed doors. Anything could be possible because it is very easy to put on a face. Everybody knows that. And so, yeah, I can't really say if these church, if you met your spouse in church, if it will be successful.
Um, yeah, no. Yes, no. Well, um, what would you call a successful relationship? Because some people might, this woman could get married, and because the marriage stay longer than a month, she would call it a successful marriage. Or somebody might be getting, I don't know, they might get a bus eye from their mate today, and because I didn't die when I get lashed, I might be in a successful marriage because my parent did get a bus eye and dead from in their marriage. So then, what do you call a successful marriage? Therefore, we can't really quantify or qualify exactly what if people's marriages or whatever are successful. Is up to them if they think it's successful. What I think really don't matter because it's not my marriage. I am looking from outside and I watching you. Whatever you want to show me, I have to believe it because that's what you showing me and I don't know nothing else. And that is all I want to do. Nothing at all. I just let me just see. I don't want to know anything else. Let me just see.
I agree with you. You have to be in the business, like everybody, marriage business, to know if it's successful or not. So there's absolutely no way to tell.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I have one more question. Where would you? Oh, first of all, I have to answer why I think church is the ideal place to find a spouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say that church is an ideal place to find a spouse because we are all imperfect, yes, but I think that for this person to be in church, it means that at least they try. At least they try. Well, I can say most times, but sometimes at least they try. Right? They're in church, and if they really have a solid relationship with God, and they're trying their best, at least they're trying. And it is better to meet them in church than by a bar or in a strip club, so or online most times.
As
So,
listen, and those are the reasons why I said it should be ideal. Should be.
well, true, it should, eh? We know people out in these streets. Yeah, so my question is, where would you prefer to find a spouse? Because most of us said enter that church thing, but where would you prefer to find a spouse?
In work.
You saying work? Is just saying work?
Yeah,
That is it. No reason why.
Because I get to see you every day, and then I know you have a good job,
that makes sense.
and I know you don't have a
Um,
work right behind my back.
Lord Father Asia. I don't know, somewhere in person. Honestly, listen, I don't really go to any ghetto type places. So anyway, if I go into the mall, if I go even at a bar, because I don't go to any crazy type of bars and where had drunks laying around. I don't go those places. So anywhere really. If it's at church, awesome. It's awesome if I find them at church. But if not, out and about. I don't like the online thing, but I go try it. Plain and simple.
I don't have a
Shan,
preference. I have no preference of where to find you because
as
I know
long
where
as
I
you find them.
no, I know where I just be. So if you are where I just be, then okay, because I can't find it anywhere where I'm not. So I don't have a preference.
All righty.
I do not answer that question.
I mean, you already find your spouse. I feel like that was a singles question.
Yeah, but so why doing talking here then if that the case? If I can have an opinion on it, if why doing talking here?
Listen, you're done ready. Find your spouse, okay? That had to be your answer.
I was gonna answer.
Anyhow,
How are you
so
gonna have an answer to this?
what what I could say is I know when not to find them. Well, for my preference, if I find you in a bias for one thing, if I find you with if I find you in a fetish for one thing, if I find you in a river line is for one thing. If well, I'll just go out on a limb and say a hike or something.
A hike?
Yeah.
What
If
is?
I going on a hike, if I going on a hike and I find you there, that means you enjoy your outside as much as I enjoy outside, and we could probably kick off something nice. But not in them other places that I might just mention.
Well, you see, Pastor.
Especially what's that?
Pastor Suzanne say go jam naked and stink and dirty.
You see
Thank
where
you,
you get it.
Pastor.
Good advice.
That's some good advice. I'll take that.
Go stink and dirty and jam naked and no, but that song and like a vibe for real, you know. Because okay, listen to the logic. Listen to the logic.
Yeah,
I'm
listen
taking
their
it
logic.
in. Mm-hmm.
It, if you are a person who is swayed by the physical, when you go
Mm-hmm.
to these places, right, you will
Yeah.
see and you'll be able to take your pick
All
of,
right. Mm-hmm.
all right, I
Mm-hmm.
like them slim, I like them thick, I like them
Mm-hmm.
obese, I like them with
Mm-hmm.
muscles, I like them without. You
Mm-hmm.
see
Yeah.
everything.
Preach, sister, preach. But just like you, other people seeing the same thing you're seeing too.
Just don't bring that in it. Well, you know what? I can't say that. I was going to say don't bring it in the church, but that's probably exactly what it needs to be.
Pastor Suzanne, that is a very good recommendation.
Only we should go evangelize. We should go evangelize and was it jam naked? Stink and dirty?
That
Or
would be a very good place to evangelize.
or go on the beach on a Sunday morning instead of church. You never know who you find there.
You're busting out on church.
Shad.
I think I need a break from church. I'm going to the beach. If you on the beach, you probably think the same thing I did think too. We need
These
a break from
pastors and their advice, eh?
Listen, and there's a scripture that says that even if you make your bed in hell, God is there.
Yes,
So
there.
these pets are hell, and you are the God in people. No, God is in you, and you are carrying the Holy Spirit everywhere you go. So you have to go into these pets and these things and evangelize to the masses. All right. When they
Amen,
say
sister.
why you bought that $350 ticket so that I can spread the word of God, I can spread the gospel. This is an investment.
Money
Live
well spent.
fast.
Just
You
remember your
seem like
body.
you seem like you do well in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Who me talking to?
It's me,
Jade,
talking to
Uh-huh.
you.
Jade and all who are agreeing with you.
Listen,
Or they go
everybody
Sodom
know
and
I'm
Gomorrah.
joking. And if you take this too serious, then you really need some change.
Jade
No, you
have
need
a
God.
fam. Jade has a family member who met the person's significant other in a club or in a party, one of those, and they've been together for 12 years. So it
That's
don't
how she
matter where you
said
find.
Jade has a family member, you know. She said
She
Jade
does.
has.
I don't know, but
Jade
You
all
see what
right.
she sister?
So you don't that's what I'm saying. It's how she said
You know she
Jade
sister?
has a family member.
Oh
But
gosh,
then
Ollie.
Mrs.
We're missing the point.
The point is
Yes.
the
Here's the
relationship
point.
lasts.
Right.
Listen, we don't catch that point. We don't catch that point.
Each his own.
Aaron, you have
Anyhow,
any more questions?
My good.
Mm-mm.
anybody has any more questions?
Mm-mm.
No, darling.
I think I
Okay.
asked all that I had to ask. Just because we have been saying unequally yoked a lot throughout this, so I just want to explain what unequally yoked is. I don't know if Aaron has the definition. Do you? The scripture?
Yeah, but your definition must be better than mine.
I was just going to read the scripture. Anyhow, um, 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath unrighteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?" So
I had a same
basically,
scripture.
huh?
I had a same scripture here.
So basically, when we say unequally yoked, we just mean that you do not share the same morals and values and such. And is it possible for us to be unequally yoked even though we met in church?
Yes.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yes. Yes.
Of course.
1,000 times yes.
True. Yeah. IRL stories, but
But
I'm still.
just to explain how we can be, one that comes to mind is that let's say we go in the same church, but you have a different church background. Let's say you were Pentecostal and now you come to come to our church, and let's say I've been. I don't want to bring up them people, right? So you still have to, and I'm using this word because I can't think of any other word, but decultinize. You sort of have to decultinize from that. And in the process of that, you might be unequally yoked with a person who has been living, breathing, speaking the word of God and in this church with this church's teachings, preachings, and so on. So that's a way you could be unequally yoked and still be in the same church. I hope I made that clear.
Yeah.
Did I?
No, you made it clear.
Okay, good.
All right. So, guys, this was a very fun topic. For a point in time, I was like, Lord Jesus, put a hand, shoulder, and a cheek. But we brought it back. We brought it back.
As
I
we
just
always do.
exactly. I just want to say thank you to all our viewers and our commenters. We need to have a giveaway though. I think our loyal viewers and loyal commenters
Commenters.
should get something very nice. Um, we don't know what it is yet.
Follow us on Instagram because we might
They get to
advertise it
comment
there.
on the next show for free.
Hey, don't take that yet.
Right. So anyway, thank thank you to all our viewers all our listeners, all our commenters, all our followers and subscribers for tuning in to tonight's episode of Hear This Now. Don't forget to like, as a matter of fact, like it immediately. Like it right now. It's taking half of a second out of your day to like. Come back to the phone and like this right now. Comment even after the show is done. Tell us how you enjoyed the episode. And subscribe and share our YouTube video. Follow us on Facebook because I know everybody have a Facebook. Follow us on Instagram to see the crazy and fun things that we do across there. And enjoy the rest of your night. Get caught up on all the other episodes that we have done.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much for viewing. Peace.
Peace, love, and hair grease. We out.